Yeah, respected jury and the audience members, we have a technical glitch which has been reported by the next contestant, contestant number 7, CA Tapas Ruparelia. So he has requested for some time. So moving on, we'll move forward to the next contestant, that is contestant number 8, CA Bigam Shahjahan Shabnam ji, to carry forward the presentation. Bigam ji, over to you.
Yeah, sir. So can you just give me a moment or so to just set up, because this was real quick regarding the technical glitch. Can you just?
Yeah, I just received a call from him.
Yeah, I'll just take 10 seconds.
Yeah,
maybe.
take your time. Take your time. Take your time.
Rishiji, I have joined from the new laptop and I think I'll be able to go ahead. I have got
Okay,
all my
then no
data
issue.
into the
Okay.
laptop. Yeah.
Now, okay, we'll
Sorry,
then now have.
sorry everyone. Sorry, the next contestant. I'm really sorry. While the previous presentation was going on, I was just trying to run my app and my Chrome was crashing. So I just made a hasty call to Rishiji and asked him if I could be switched over to the next one. But I've just joined in through a new second laptop. Just give me a second. I will share my screen. I brought all the dump from a pen drive into the new laptop. I will be sharing my full screen, and since I've changed my laptop, I don't have the presentation with me. It was uh, on the desktop, which I missed to move. Sincere apologies, everyone. I hope my screen is visible.
Yes, yes.
Yes.
Yeah. So two issues. One, the technical glitch that I faced, my browser in this first laptop was not working. And second, the way the first presentation was carried on and way Sumit sir mentioned that as CAs, we need to consider the benchmarks. While the two presentations when this was being discussed were little different, coincidentally, fortunately or unfortunately, the case that I have is very similar to the one that was being presented at the first stage. But my use case is very specific. I wanted to solve a use case where the GST reconciliation is something which is a real issue for many chartered accountants. I have seen people using tools, RPA tools such as Power Automate or even Python to get the GSTR to be downloaded automatically from the GST portal. But the issue remains is to carry out reconciliation with the PR data versus the GSTR 2B. And this happens, the issue where most of the professionals face is that the kind of data that comes in when you look at a purchase register versus when you actually look at the GSTR 2B, the mismatch that happens between these two data is not essentially only in relation to the numbers or invoice, whether it is matched or unmatched. I still get a lot of queries with respect to using advanced Excel functions to do this. Most of the CA offices that I've seen for performing GST reconciliations is through Excel. People were using VLOOKUP till now, but they have moved on to XLOOKUP, where they are matching multiple columns at the same time. But ultimately, what happens is that all the criteria, that is the GSTN, the invoice number, the values, the tax values, and the taxable value, everything is being concatenated into one cell, and then a complex and then a VLOOKUP formula is being applied to match these things. The inherent problem here is that if there is a slight change in the invoice structure, if a dash or slash is inserted or some other mismatch is or some other way in which the supplier has reported the invoice, and it happens at both the places, either at the time of booking the invoice, your accountant is smart enough that he doesn't want to recognize the special characters or the alphabets, or he wants to just put in some random numbers, or at the time of uploading the data from the supplier surprisingly starts adding certain characters or does not add certain characters which are actually there on your invoice. So this kind of mismatch is something that I wanted to resolve. And I also wanted to ensure that none of the data goes to any of the AI tools. So this tool is developed based on a long discussion with Claude as well as Gemini. And then I have finally developed a Python script, which the front end is being run through Streamlit app. It's a very, very simple interface I have prepared because I just wanted to solve the GSTR to be reconciliation issue for all the fraternity out here. The basic configuration that I've added is to manage clients. You can add a new client. I have added two clients, Tapas Ruparelia and the first contestant who was running the presentation. And what I've added is the amount of tolerance. Whenever you see any issue, most of the times due to some rounding of errors, the amounts may not exactly match. When doing it with Excel, Excel would naturally want to match up to all the decimals, and only in those cases the exact values would come in. Similarly for dates. So what I've done is I've given the options as to what is the tolerance that you want in case when you are doing a reconciliation. So those tolerance settings for amounts, I have put 10 rupees, and for date tolerance, I have kept 50. I had brought in the relevant data that I had prepared. And considering that this is being telecasted nationally, I have tried to prepare a sample mock GSTR2B JSON file as well as the purchase register. And this is based on the actual files that I had. I manually applied certain Excel formulas, and then I have tried to modify the values so that they don't actually represent any actual values. The interesting part that I've done and which I observe is that even if people are following Tally, or say the data is being downloaded from a software called Busy or Zoho, even if you are following a standard, even if all of your clients are in the same ERP or the accounting software, there is
Tapas, just
bound to.
sorry, Tapas,
Yes, sir.
just sorry. If you can, hide that sidebar in the
Oh,
camera.
yes.
Actually, we are
Sorry.
seeing the black
I
screen.
forgot that I have shared the entire screen. Thank you. Thank you for highlighting, sir. So when uh, yeah. So even when say all your clients are using Tally, it is bound to happen that the way the column structure comes in is different. So for the purpose of matching, what we need from the PR is these 8 important columns which have to be mapped properly. So irrespective of what column name your actual PR considers, I have given a mapping option here. So as soon as you upload your PR file, a column mapping will happen, and the program will automatically try and identify the relevant column name. If at all you still want to change it, it will change it. So even if, let's say, something else was written here, but it was very similar to GST of the supplier or something, the system would automatically catch these kind of names, and you just have to give a view or just a bird's eye view to check that all the columns have been mapped properly. So we have GSTN of the supplier, the invoice number, invoice date, taxable value, IGST, CGST, SGST, and cess. I'm going to go ahead and run the reconciliation now. The reconciliation will run, and yeah, my earlier UI also had those balloons coming up, but somehow this one doesn't have. I'm just hoping that I'm running the right script here. Yeah, so this file is generated here. So what is happening here is it is showing me all the line items that we had uploaded onto the PR. The first line item, and we have given the match status. So there is a match reason, match status. It says either it is matched or it is pending. If it is pending, which means that it is only in the PR. And if it is matching, then in that case, it is you have to further see as to on what basis the system has matched it. In case of exact match, of course, everything is matching. If we see the INV, it was 7987. Here also it is INV 7987. The date was 4th of March, and the amounts are also exactly matching. The next one where we have a sort of a date mismatch. So if you see here, there was a 8th of July 2025, and whereas in GSTR2B, the date was 13 June 2025. And I had given a tolerance of only 15 days. This is more than 15 days, which is why it is showing as a date mismatch. If it was within 15 days, the matching would have come into the exact match status. Okay. The next one that I would move ahead is the amount mismatch. So if you see, the tolerance that I had given was 10 rupees, but here the amount mismatch that is happening in case of taxable value, the taxable value in the first case is 49310, whereas the taxable value in case of the GSTR 2B is 48805, which is more than 10 rupees. Hence, it is showing as an amount mismatch. Now, coming to the intelligent points that I wanted to show is a case where there is a GSTN code mismatch. Of course, because this is a sort of a random match, you will see that the PAN numbers, sorry, not a random match, it's the GST numbers are actually generated through a code. So they are not going to reflect the actual PAN numbers. But if you see here, what is happening is the supplier had uploaded, the supplier's GSTN was 02, but because he supplies to me from multiple GSTNs, the system has catched that the GSTR 2B comes in from 1. So either I have booked it incorrectly, which would be ideally the case, or the supplier might have uploaded this data incorrectly from his system, in which case I will have to reach out to him. But normally it would happen that if I have two customer master in the same name, then I might make a mistake and record these invoices into a different GSTN. So ideally it should have been come from one, but I would have mapped it under a different GSTN. So that is something that I wanted to capture with respect to the different GSTN. And now if you see the remaining ones, what is happening here is the main problem that CAs would face is in case of special characters and alphabetical characters which crop in into either your PR or GSTR 2B, which do not result
Last 2
into a
minutes
proper
is
match.
left.
Yes, thank you. And this is the last point that I wanted to show. The invoice number here is invoice/612, whereas here it is invoice INV 612, whereas everything else is matching. So system has intelligently identified this. Similarly, in this case, if you see, the invoice had ABC 6119, whereas in my GSTR 2B, it came in only as 6119. So on and so forth. In this case, my PR, I had leading zeros. However, here there was no leading zeros. So these kind of scenarios also would match, and the system would give you a matching reason as to how this is matched. And very quickly, in the next 30 seconds, I will address how I have created this. So all these logics that I had, I went on to Claude. I gave a prompt that I am a GST expert and I want to create this GST reconciliation logic. And these are the logics, or these are the issues that I have been regularly facing when matching invoices, which is coming from GSTR 2B and PR. I pasted
So
the
time
headers
is
that I
over.
had. Sure, thank you. I'll just complete. I pasted the headers that I had from the actual GSTR 2B and the purchase register, and then it created a code. And I actually tried and tested this entire code onto the actual data. And slowly and gradually, I refined the code to actually get the data that I had. One last point that I missed, probably I can answer it during the Q&A in the Excel sheet. Yeah. Yes, sir.
So if you can tell us about the last point you missed so that we can ask it during the Q&A.
Sure, sir. Then just give me 1 second. I'll just very quickly show. What I have done at last is, if you see the reconciliation file gets generated, then there is a second sheet which shows the PR only data. There is a third sheet which shows you the GSTR 2B only data. What I have done is, and in the last sheet, a pivot table is created, which shows the values which are there in PR versus the value which is there in GSTR 2B. It identifies the common GSTNs which were there in both the places, but still the program was not able to identify a close match. So it shows that these were the GSTN which had some values in purchase as well as GSTR 2B, and but still the system was not able to find any reconciliation, so that there can be a manual match that would be done by the CST. Yeah.
So great presentation, Tapas. And
Thank you, sir.
first of all, I would compliment that in case if you have been able to transit from one laptop to another, and the kind of momentum and the confidence you maintained was actually amazing. So
Thank you,
first
sir.
of all,
Thank you.
kudos to that. Just
Thank
one
you.
or two quick questions that
Yes, sir.
so one was very good. The logic which you have built, that within 15 days it will be considered as the date logic. So is it hard coded or is it variable? I can change or toggle between.
It is variable, sir. So the setting that I have given is it is not a drop down or something. You will be able to select the number of days that you want. So you can go up to 365 or whatever you want.
That's great. So considering the nature of business I am into, so something comes via transport, it may take a longer time vis-a-vis
Absolutely, sir. So,
within
and
state
in fact,
delivery.
that is where this logic I had built in. Earlier, I had given the
Okay.
logic inbuilt into the code where it would match within the same month or within the same financial year. But then in the real data, I also observed that the invoice would have come in May 2025, whereas actually the PR would have booked in February 2025, and it had couple of months gap as well as the financial year gap. So I then gave a number of days based on your specific business scenario. You can enter the days.
Great. So just for the benefit of our audience, that you spoke about the prompting at the last. So consider that I want to build all of these logic. So what is the better approach? Is it to give all the logic in one go and ask it to prepare a code, or give it partial logic and then start building on the entire code?
I sir started with giving all the logics and a detailed prompt to Claude, but then based on the experience and the reiterations that I had to go through, I would suggest that a step-by-step or a chain of prompt kind of approach would be better. So this is I'm showing on my screen. This is the prompt that I had given, and I had given the uh, options and the various types of matching, etc., that I would want, the examples, etc. Of course, there were subsequent questions, etc., also asked by Claude, which I clarified. But then when I actually ran it on the actual data, I kept realizing that I will have to change it to suit the actual data. So a chain of thought prompting or a step-by-step approach would be advisable.
Great. Thank you so much. So back to Karthik, sir.
Thank you, sir.
And
Thank you.
just one small stuff, that somebody, I'm seeing that some
Yeah.
few of the participants are raising hands. So in case you have any questions, please write it on the chat, because raising hands will not be of much help. Thank you so much.
Yeah. Tapasji, first of all, let me appreciate you, because you said the laptop had an issue and then you had to transition to another laptop, and that itself is indicative that this is scalable, right? So
Thank you, sir. Thank you.
this Python code you just copy pasted and you started running it in the other
Yes, sir.
system.
So I had that files ready. I had created those Python files. So it is there. It
Yeah,
is running on my VS Code. It's just that
got
I
it.
ran a Streamlit command, and then the interface was showing on Streamlit.
Great, great, great. So, can you walk through the configuration? I mean, manage client. Can you open the Streamlit once?
Yes, sir.
The first section on the left pane. Yeah, manage client.
It's only add a client. So I can, so what it does is, sir, actually the kind of tolerance, etc., that I'm giving and the mapping that I'm doing, the one-time
Yeah.
mapping that I do, it gets saved onto the client, so that next time when I upload that purchase register, I do not have to do the mapping and I do not have to set the tolerance again. That's the purpose of having
Oh,
managements.
okay, great. So, where does this get saved?
It gets saved into the code itself.
Okay,
Even I have not really tested that.
okay, okay. Okay, great. So, for mapping, it is using the rules that you have hard coded in the code itself. It is not using
Yes, sir.
any API or LLM.
API for mapping, etc. No, because I've extensively given the examples and then using the AI I had built upon it. But considering I mean, I wanted to ensure that everything is run on my local
Run
desktop and
offline.
no data is going somewhere. I am not using any APIs for this reconciliation.
Okay, 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 okay. Okay, that's all from my side. Great. Thank you.
Right. Great presentation, Tapasji. Just
Thank you, sir.
two questions. One is, what libraries have you used in Python? And second, we can see the kind of uploads which are allowed there, Excel, CSV, and all those things. Have
Yes,
you
sir.
looked into, let's say, making it more open or more flexible in terms of the formats, and what more problems it might cause in the current workflow for you in that case?
Sir, what I wanted to actually explore is getting the files directly from the GSTN. That is the use case that I was working on along with it. My end goal from on this presentation was not only to have the data do the reconciliation, but also get the data directly from the GST and using the APIs itself, so that the user doesn't have to go and manually download the Excel, etc. With respect to the other format, sir, normally the purchase register comes in on Excel CSV only, and the GSTN also provides you the GSTR to be into two formats, that is JSON as well as Excel. So I haven't tried any other format. Is there any specific format that you are indicating, sir?
No, no, no. I'm just generally talking. Let's say if you want to scale it up in the future also. So there will be a lot of users having, mostly Excel is okay, but a lot of users might be having PDF and all those kind of different formats. So, embedding some sort of an OCR related technology and all that might be useful later on.
Absolutely, can be done. Can be done.
Right, right.
But again, that would then take an entirely different approach to extract the data, ensure that first the PR is populated properly, and then come on to this stage of reconciliation.
And just following up on Kartikeya's question, so currently you don't have any database connected to it. The managed client section is just to add more clients in the
It is
existing
not the data. I
register.
realize that. I realize the
Yeah,
question. The database has to be connected in order to save this. That was the idea, but that has been left out. I didn't realize that.
right, right, right. All
You
right.
also asked about the libraries, sir. So these are
Yeah.
the libraries: Streamlit, Pandas, JSON.
Okay, yeah, right. All right. So nothing from my end. Rishi, sir, I think we can move to the next speaker. Thank you.
Thank you, Tapas ji.
Thank you, Rishi ji. Thank you very much. Thank you, juries.